Alrighty, let's play the same game again. Why are you here? What are you doing here? Tell me. Joe, maybe start with you then.
Thanks. I'm an Aquarius.
God damn
I was
it.
once described as the worst PR in the world, which I will have on my gravestone because I totally agree with it. I've worked with street art and street art movement since 2002. I was 12 when I started. Joking.
I was like, is this an anonymous alcoholic thing?
And I guess I'm here because Peter talked me into it.
Okay. What's your professional connection to street art then?
I've run a global PR agency, for 25 years plus. And I just got into it via complete and utter lunacy and people just being very drunk at festivals.
That's the best way to get into it, I think.
It's actually the truth.
Pieter.
My name's Pieter. I'm director of a tourist board in Ostend. I worked there for about 20 years. And we started with the Crystal Ship, I think it's about 11 years, so it's our 10th edition. We organize the festival as a tourist board, but we always invite curators to do the real artistic work, and we do the promotion and the organization, hospitality, and things like that.
Wow, quite a lot. Yes,
Hi, thanks for inviting me. I'm here from the Cologne Tourist Board, Visit Cologne, and I've been involved with street art ever since 2015, because that was when basically our DMO, our destination management organization, shifted its focus more towards the neighborhoods, the so-called Veedel in Cologne, where we have a very vibrant urban culture, and then street art became one of the themes that we thought was very good, actually, in order to promote tourism. So ever since, it has been a part of our communication for Cologne as a destination to travel to.
Interesting. How about you, Tim?
Okay, my name is Tim. I come from Antwerp. I'm one of the co-founders of Street Art Cities, and I'm like.
Which is?
What do you mean?
Street Art Cities.
Street Art Cities. So Street Art Cities is like one of the world's leading street art platforms in the world. We try to promote street art in every fashion. We built this. We started with this crazy idea. Why don't we map out all street art and graffiti in the world 10 years ago? And nowadays, we have this community-driven ecosystem built on locals, artists, and organizations, and we have a map with almost 100,000 artworks in over 2,000 cities, which people can visit and explore.
That is quite a lot. No.
So, that's it for now, I guess.
Let's go on then. Maybe let's kick off with the biggest question. Why is street art so interesting for tourism? Because we've seen it everywhere now. We've seen tools, we've seen festivals, we've seen maps, apps, all these kind of things. Joe, why wouldn't we start off with you? Because you have to leave earlier, so.
Oh, yes, sorry. Well, I'm a bit of a purist, so I'm probably not the best person to speak about this first, but what I would say is I think for me and the artists that I represent, because I'm more on the artistic side, I feel like we need to keep their work quite pure. I don't think we need to censor any of it, if I'm honest. I think a lot of these artists, if you're going to go right back to the beginning and take it, to its origins, they couldn't get into galleries, a lot of these guys and girls. They couldn't be accepted by the establishment. They weren't seen as artists. They couldn't afford art materials and universities. And I don't want to make them sound like really sad people, because they're not, because most of them are hilarious and happy. But I feel like their only option, and I'm not really talking about graffiti per se, I'm talking about muralists and artists that do things on a large scale and outdoors. They just had to do it outdoors because they didn't have any option. So I guess the tourism side has also it's come a lot later. And without these kind of festivals, I think a lot of these guys probably wouldn't be doing this now. So for me, I'm more of protecting... Oh, so someone's doing some spraying here now.
It felt like it.
Bit of graffiti up the top. I feel like we need to kind of protect them as a group of individuals and not expose them. Sorry, Street Art Global, or what the guy earlier, but I just don't agree with any of that commercialisation. I think this movement is still evolving. I mean, a lady earlier talked about Rubens. I mean, you know, that he died 450 years ago next year. So I think this movement is still evolving. I don't think it's finished yet. I don't think we've even seen a slither of what it can become. So, yeah, I guess the answer to your question is, yes, it does have a link to tourism, but not directly.
So you were speaking about the benefit for the artists already, like payment, etc. But we have to protect them. Let's park that idea for a further point. Because Pieter, we're speaking about the artists. How about the city? What's the benefit of it? Why did you ever use street art into tourism? Was it there already? Was it something you installed in here?
It wasn't really already present in Ostend. We started with Crystal Ship. There were different reasons. As a tourist board, we like to organize, promote really from the DNA of the city. We really like to do things that really match with Ostend. Culture is a very big thing for us. We have a big theater festival, we have a big film festival. So street art was something that was missing there. On the other hand, when we started 10 years ago, we had the lack of all-weather activities. There was a museum, but the expos weren't really attracting much people. The Kursal wasn't renovated then, so we had lack at something that really could attract, lots of people all year round. So that's when we start thinking about using the city as a museum, and not going indoor, but putting works outside. And from the artistic kind of view, we know that we are a tourist board. We are not the curators, we are not the artistic guys, we are the organizer. So for us it's very important that we want to really put the Crystal Ship as an art festival, but we let the artists completely free. Of course, the owner of a wall can say, I don't want this on my wall, but we never guide artists, we never tell them what they have to paint. They have 100% freedom in what they do. And I think that makes it important to take yourself serious as a festival. You can't be an art festival and tell, I just went, there's a basketball field, I want somebody's playing basketball on that wall. Then it won't work, then you're starting to be a commercial festival. We have cities in Belgium that do just walls about cyclists because the Tour de Flanders passes by and those walls look great, but that's not an artwork. That's something that somebody told you have to paint this on a wall. So that's something different. Yeah.
It's a bit different for Cologne, I think, for Cologne in English, Cologne. Because you have a very active street art scene, I think. I've went to 2 galleries with 2 painters already, etc. So it was there already. Why did street art become a thing in tourism strategy for you?
Well, essentially, it was the City Leaks Festival that began 2011 and was a festival that took place every 2 years. Naturally, we did have street art before and a very vibrant street art scene, large and small. But the festival kicked off lots of murals, and especially in neighborhoods that weren't in the touristic focus, but which we thought were actually very worthwhile visiting. So we have a connection there. And then again, also, I think what's very alluring about street art is that it's also a very international scene. And it addresses basically everybody. It's a very low level of visiting a city. So there are no barriers with regard to entry fees or discussion if it's high or lower culture. It's just there for everybody, and everybody can interact. So basically that is what kicked it off.
Yeah. Okay. Tim and Joel see you as the purists. Is this a way to protect? Is this one of the ways to protect the artists, giving them full freedom, or?
Look, I'm a massive believer if you've got a baby in a buggy or you've got a granny with you, I think everyone deserves to see a bit of art without having to go up a step. Mm-hmm. So if you're out on the street and you're walking around and you see a piece of art that you think, oh, that's actually made me think about something, then for me that's a win. And it's also a massive win for people like Pieter because, you know, Ostend is a very seaside town, so it has a season. So I think any time that people can go outside and have a democratic view without paying a museum entry fee, for me it's a win.
Is that why your product has been launched? Street Art Cities, I mean.
Well, I think Street Art Cities has been born from an idea of like showing your city through street art. Mm-hmm. That's how I started in Antwerp, and I was looking for a way to, because in the beginnings I was just answering DMs, hey, where's the address of that artwork and that art on Instagram? Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, that's not the way. It should be open in public for everybody to see. So me personally, I was looking for a way to show my city through street art. And that's how Street Art Cities started, just like one uniform platform where you can find everything in different cities. So, yeah.
Right. Who should benefit from this then? Pieter?
But I think everybody should benefit from this. Of course, we pay all the artists, we pay them all the same, and I think they like to come here, we treat them well, we pay their travel, so it's important for the artists. We also try to give them a platform, hope that other festivals see them, that they get more work. Last year we also tried to sell smaller works, because a lot of the muralists also make small works. We are going to open a gallery this weekend as well, so we try to do a lot for the artists, but of course we are the tourist board, of course there are also economic goals that we have. So we also want that the restaurants work well from people that visit the Crystal Ship. We have arrangements with hotels where people can book a night, they get a brochure, they get a walking tour. So it's an end story, and I believe both sides need each other, because we can convince our board to invest in street art because they see the results of people coming to Ostend. They see the press that is going on now at the festival. So that gives us the possibility to work with the artists and let them be free. And that's also why I want to organize this discussion, because we know it's a fine line. Because when we don't just want to use artists as a tourist attraction. It has to be real, it has to be credible, because otherwise it won't work on long term. But it's a small balance. So we're constantly looking for that balance.
How do you make sure it's credible then?
But that's why I, for example, have never curated one artist. Because I'm a marketeer, I follow street artists on Instagram, but I don't have any artistic knowledge, so I don't do that. We look for people that are better in that than us. We, as a tourist board, we also organize a gastronomy festival, we have a photo festival, we have a literature festival. I can't expect that my team knows everything from everything. So we hire in experts to the artistic part, but the organization part, that's what we can do. Because we know the city, we know how to arrange the permits, we know how to drive people around, we know hospitality. So, but we can't do that artistic part. And I think protecting that is important. We also work with an advisory board with 7 people from artistic point of view. Tim is in there as well, but also writers, to guide us on the long term, so that we don't make the wrong choices and that we don't fall in that more commercial trap and lose the credibility.
How unique is this, Tim, this way of thinking within this world of commercial street art?
I think one of the most unique things in street art festivals today is artistic freedom. Like Pieter said, if you force artists in a certain way or give them limitations or say, hey, why don't you paint a little blue bird on it, then you limit artists and the end result won't be as strong as it should be. So I think artistic freedom is key. But I can also understand that for a lot of projects, it's not always possible, because depending on the funding and who funds the festival, there are some expectations. But on the other hand, I really believe that street art is like, it's an open air museum and it's everywhere around us. You see more and more cities and municipalities invest in it because, especially since COVID, when everybody was, they had to stay inside, there was nothing open. But like then my DM exploded and hey, did you see this mural and blah, blah, blah. So everybody could go out, but they couldn't experience anything. But all of a sudden they could see murals. Mm-hmm. So this movement, like Joe said, I don't think we've seen everything of it. So I think it's just starting. I think it started as a subculture, and now it's becoming adult somehow, and everybody has to try and find a way. Like in the first panel talk, a lot of cities are looking for ways how to guide this process. Mm-hmm. But it's a slow process.
Again, I don't like adults. Adults are not sexy.
No, they're awful.
Kids are not sexy too, I wouldn't say
they're
that.
Dreadful.
But isn't that a part of the problem we had in discussion one, the decline of street art? It becomes less attractive because of it's growing up, it's becoming very structured, or?
No, because I think, kids are going to find new ways. Look, they're teaching us how to use our iPads and our iPhones, My 23-year-old son laughs at me every day, calls me a boomer, but it's fine. I don't mind. I think the kids now, I'm not even going to get into the AI conversation because we'll all want to have to vomit outside. But I feel like it is so, it's difficult to explain. I just think we're at the beginning, and I don't think we should commercialise it or talk about the commercialisation or the tourism levels, because I think it's still evolving. And it's like I said about the old masters, how long did they last? Forever. Mm-hmm. And they're still lasting now. And we're still discovering things about the painting techniques or whatever. Yeah. So I feel like, we shouldn't finish it now. We shouldn't say what's happening next, because why should we?
Yeah.
I think cities or municipalities or whatever organizations, they need to ride that wave instead of controlling it, because from an administrative point of view and an artistic point of view, those are two different worlds. They work completely different.
And cities are changing every day. Yeah. Buildings are being knocked down, new buildings are being, so it's an ongoing process. I think Pieter needs to mention about there's one thing that you've got which is unique here, is your new project which you're opening, which I think is absolutely phenomenal.
We have somebody talking about that after us.
Oh, so sorry. Spoiler. Sorry.
That's okay.
But anyway, listen out for that.
It's 4:00, Joe. Do you still want to join us in this conversation?
I've got 5 more minutes.
Okay, let's go then. Because I'm concerned about the artist, of course. At what point does tourism, tours or whatever, devaluate the work? Because I can imagine...
I don't think it does.
Does it?
No.
That's the question, though.
No, I don't think it does.
I'm sure it doesn't. And that's something that we have to fight against, especially in a more cultural perspective. Tourism isn't a bad word. It isn't. Sure. And it is, people say it as it's a bad word, it's a bad thing, but Ostend wouldn't be Ostend without tourism. We wouldn't have that kind of restaurant, we wouldn't have those shops, we wouldn't have a Cursaal, we wouldn't even have the Grote Post like this. So tourists make things possible for Ostend. And there's always a balance. There are cities, I think Amsterdam has problems, Venice has problems, Barcelona has their problems. It can go too far, and it's our job to attract tourism that is on the scale of Ostend. We don't need any events that have 1 million visitors. No, the events that we do have to be scalable for Ostend and make things possible. And that's a discussion that I have from time to time with people living in Ostend. In Ostend, we complain if there's a 15-minute traffic jam. And if people have to drive to work and they have to wait 15 minutes, they say, oh, those tourists again. But they don't see the scale. But then afterwards, they like to go to that restaurant and that shop. And if I tell them, if there were any tourists, that shop wouldn't have been here, it wouldn't be livable. But people don't see that. They just say tourism as a bad word, just as you said it, because but we don't evaluate artists. I think we can help artists and make them bigger and give them a worldwide scale to do things. And that's what we try to do. And we make mistakes along the way, but that's the goal.
Advocate of the devil, what if the artist is that he doesn't know he's in the tour? This is different for the Crystal Ship because it's commissioned work. But for example, let's say in Cologne, you see 5 interesting pieces and you decide, let's make a route out of that, a route out of that. How do you, Jesse, how do you see that?
Well, first of all, the art is in the public space and it's out in the open. So I would assume that the artist wants to be seen. Therefore, it is also important to see that if there are tours, that they are responsible with regard to the artists and the art that is on display. We can't promote tours that generally just announce themselves as a tour guide. Anybody in Germany can be a tour guide and name himself or call himself a tour guide. So as a DMO, it is our responsibility to check whether the tours that take place are done by individuals or organizations who are involved within the art and, of course, understand what they are talking about.
Tim, you had something to add?
Yeah, like the danger is commercialization, because like a lot of organizations, they see street art hip and trendy and they see a market in it. Hey, let's organize some tours. And then they go to do some research on internet, or even worse, ChatGPT, and they start training.
My friend.
They start training a guide, and then this guide is showing the city, and then just like giving fake information about the artworks and the artists.
Yeah.
And then the tourists, they go home, they're thinking, oh, okay, we know that artist and we know the artwork. But they have the wrong information. So I think, for me, I do tours in Antwerp, and I'm involved in a lot of projects. I have got some direct lines with artists. So when I talk about artworks, I always try to do my research and talk to the artists that give me the context. And that's also like giving credit to the artists. Otherwise, I can tell a fairy tale about every mural, but it's not the right info. And I don't think every artist would like that.
Yeah,
But
Pieter?
I like to disagree a bit with that, because I think, and I know that's a tough discussion, but I think as a street artist, you work in public space. So in one kind of way, you give your work to the public. And I agree that commercialization, H&M shouldn't make a picture and sell T-shirts with it. I'm totally okay with that. But it's one of the risks of working in the public space. If you want to control what is told about your work, you have to go to a museum and do it behind closed doors. And of course, it's better if people give good information, and that's correct. But on the other hand, that's the risk that you take by working. You have more audience, more people see your work, but also more stories will be told. And not every story will be good or will be correct. But if you don't want to take that risk, you can't control the public space. And I don't think street artists have the right to control the public space, because there are people seeing the work and can think what they want about that work and tell what they want about that work.
I think they probably quite like the fairy stories as well, if I'm honest.
Can you actually steal street art? Can you steal it?
Yeah.
It happens all the
is it
time.
theft?
I mean, it's something that happens all the time in Cologne, and street artists are aware of that fact. Basically, I guess it's part of the art form, because there are street artists I know of who will use a certain paster that will self-destroy the artwork if somebody tries to steal it. Without
Is it stealing because it's public?
Good question.
Yeah.
But that's always a bit of the balance, and I don't think there's a right answer to that. But on some way you give your work to the public, but I don't think somebody can own that work, because it's at that point it's public property, I think.
Most of them don't care.
Yeah, that was my
Honestly,
question.
they don't care.
Do they
Once
care?
it's gone up and it's been seen, if it gets tagged, they don't care. Trust me, they don't.
But who bears responsibility then? Like, imagine for two ways,
Nobody.
like the Sandadia,
Nobody. I think
yeah.
it's part of the art. If it gets tagged, that's...
But that's something that we do. We are responsible for the artworks that we put up, and we also have to maintain them. That's the agreement that you have with the owners of the house. So if a work gets tagged or vandalized, then we make a decision: can we repair it, can we restore it, or do we have to take it away and put another artwork up? So that's, I think, in our case, that's our responsibility, because we we let those we painted those walls, so it's on us to.
Yeah, I think
look
it's
after
slightly
them.
different for you because you're a festival and you have a responsibility. But I think if you're just talking about in the general sphere,
non-commissioned
then,
work, for example,
then it goes with the territory. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Fine.
And imagine someone does something really strange on the wall, the Sandadia piece, which could be illegal or not. Is it the city who's responsible because you're providing the walls, or?
But we didn't really have that because we know what kind of artists are going to come. And we let them free in what they do, but if you select, if a typical artist is created that does that kind of work, then you know that there could be troubles. And that's something we are not looking for to oppose people or to shock people. We want walls that make people think. That's also why we have the baseline, what this happened, what walls can talk. We want people to interact, to discuss, to see things, but we don't want to shock them because it is public property. But if it happens, it can happen outside the festival. But then it's not our choice to do what to do with it, but it's to the streets. And if it's legal or not legal, that's not on us.
Tim?
Yeah, and we mustn't forget that all these artists are humans like you and me, and they all have opinions, and they all have things that happen in their life, and if they decide to use their platform to send a message, it's only human, and you can agree or disagree, and sometimes it's illegal. Yeah, they probably know, and they have to bear the consequences, but it's just a way of expressing themselves.
Yeah, I can imagine there's some artists who do not agree with that and still think, oh, you're making my art a product, or you're making of art a product. What's the general opinion there?
There's one example I can think of in London where a guy, quite a famous street artist, Ben Ein, who does the giant kind of letters, he wrote a massive mural which said the word scary, and then Skoda filmed an advert, and they had some tagline saying, driving a Skoda is not scary. And we were like, oh, that's quite shit. So he then got in touch with Skoda, and they did actually pay him in the end for the use of the artwork, which I think is fair enough, because if you're commercialising someone's words and then putting them in a tagline, then fair enough. But, it goes with street art being outside. It's very difficult to control. But I think if Zara took an element and put it on a T-shirt without permission, then I would expect a legal letter.
Yeah. Is that something you guys take care of as well? Do not commercialize the work, or go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, we don't do that. We have agreements with our artists. They know what we can do with the works. We can make brochures, we can make tours, we can make pictures for promotion, but we can't commercialize works. In this edition, we'll make a few T-shirts, but we contact the artists up front and we ask who wants to collaborate with this kind of T-shirts, and we pay them for that. But we can't just commercialize the work or start selling prints, for example. That's not what we can do, because then we are.
How do you see that, Tim? Because it's in a way a bit what you're doing.
I just wanted to add. Sorry that. Well, we have a different approach because, of course, we're in a different situation. But we will ask the street artists if we can cooperate in, for instance, a campaign. And then we will find an agreement, or we will also definitely accept if the artist tells us, no, I don't want to participate, because that is, I think, legitimate. And we've had either or.
What if you have no idea who the artist is?
Well, then we will, of course, think about it if we can use it, or we won't use it if we can't actually find out who the artist is, because there's definitely somebody behind it.
Tim, how do you look at the commercializing of work of artists without them asking?
Yeah, it's wrong, of course, and don't underestimate the power of the community and the movement, because I can remember that H&M several years ago did an ad where there was this big mural, I don't remember the artist, and all of a sudden graffiti writers all over the world started tagging H&M shops. So if you can't do it legally, yeah, there's still a powerful movement behind it who can force you to reconsider. So yeah, just don't do it. Or I think it's these big brands, they think, oh yeah, it's in a public space and we can use it, and we don't have to. They don't even think about, oh, there's art in the background. Who do we credit? So I think we need to raise some awareness with everybody about this. Okay, it's in public space, but there's actually an artist who put his heart and soul, blood and tears and everything else in it. So please, a bit of credit is needed.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, interesting. And why do people find street art that attractive in tourism? Because every time I travel with groups, they're always like, let's see the street art. Why?
I think for us it was interesting because you can work a very wide audience. We have children's tour, we have guided tours for older people, we have tours for people with disabilities. So you can attract a very wide audience. But also in our case, we are a city by the sea. What do people want if they come to a city by the sea? They want to walk. Mm-hmm. And street art gives them a reason to walk and to learn something in between. And it's a reason for them to go outside, to discuss, to think. And that's why we really like to do it, because we can do the tours. We have the luxury that we have 100 murals created by the festival. So we have tours, we have videos from all the artists, we have audio from all the artists. We can tell the right stories, and we can really work on getting people around. But people love to walk and see things, and that's what the Crystal Ship does. And if we can learn them something and let them think about topics in between, then we really are doing our job. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think graffiti and street art especially is one of the most democratic art forms we have, because you don't have to pay an entrance fee. You can just walk around, and if you have a map, you can walk around, find all the artworks. There's no white label next to it. What tells you need to see in it? You can just look at it and make your own opinion, or find out your own idea about it. So, and especially like a lot of museums, they ask a lot of money, and like especially today in these challenging times, not everybody has the money to enter a museum. So just go outside. There's an open air gallery in practically every city or town. So just go out, and people who can never get in touch with art, they can see art anyway without paying. So yeah.
Maybe to close it off before we go to the crowds, for all of you, does street art support tourism, or does tourism support street art?
I would say both ways, because if it's not both ways, somebody is not doing their job. And in our case, tourism needs street art and street art needs tourism, and we have to keep that balance and make it both ways, because otherwise we don't want to just misuse street art just to attract tourists, because if we just do that, we would make a lot of different choices, and then it would be me as a marketeer that would curate walls, because it are just pretty pictures, but we want stories to be told. So I think it has to be both ways, in my opinion.
Yeah. How about you, Jesse? What do you think?
I would definitely agree. And what's important about it is that street art is something, I think, also very democratic and authentic. And in order for it to be communicated in an authentic way, you have to see that the freedom of the art form is persistent and can thrive. Because if that isn't the case, then in the end effect, it will fold. People will know that the way it is promoted isn't, in a sense, real. But that is the thing that fascinates people about it, I guess.
Yeah. Tim and Jo, within the street art culture, then, is this carried globally, or is this like, I can imagine the case, be a bit more strict on this one? Do the street artists actually, all of them, think like this? Like, it's okay to use a product as a tool? No,
because a lot of them are completely mad.
Yeah.
So I think, if I'm totally honest with you, if tourism's done in the right way, then street artists will enjoy it and they will come to festivals, and if they're looked after and they are respected, I think that's fine. But I think on a global level, it's different in every country. It's difficult to say. I mean, in Brazil, people are still painting in favelas and that kind of
with different reasons as well.
Exactly, for different sociological reasons. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Sorry, a bit tired. But yeah, I feel like it's different in every country. In America right now, it's completely repressed and no one's doing anything because they just can't be bothered. But in Europe, I think we're very lucky that we have these festivals because they are a dying breed. And I think well done to Crystal Ship for making it for 10 years. Let's give them the clap.
Thank you.
No, but it's true. And, you know, and I want to mention Jesse because you need some help, don't you?
Do I?
Yeah.
Right.
Not mentally, because he's quite good.
That is right.
Oh, he does.
We have we have the City Leaks Festival that basically is pending ever since Corona took place, and we're just hoping that it's going to be revived. It's as a DMO, we can hope and communicate that we would really like it to come back. But then, of course, it's up to the artists and the organizers who, in the end effect, have to get it kickstarted. But I think it's an important issue that communities realize that if they have an art scene, a street art scene, that is something you can actually build up on if you do it the right way.
Yeah.
And include all those who are actually involved and who are responsible for the art.
Yeah, interesting. I think we can conclude the talk here maybe. I would like to thank you, Jesse, Pieter and Tim for this call.